Thank you very much, Mr. Ritter, for participating in our program. I'd like to start from the point that recently there was some confusion regarding the incident, like a shooting in the border, and still it's not clear for me at least what happened. So what actually happened? Do you think the mission was a target or not?
On the day we have been patrolling near the border and we heard some shooting. We were eyewitness of a shooting, but we didn't feel targeted or threatened.
So do you think there is any kind of danger or like some security issues for the mission?
From the very beginning of this mission, we notified our escorted patrols 1 week in advance through the office of this European Union Special Representative to let the Azerbaijani side know where we will be a few days later. So far, this worked quite well, and we never felt threatened or in danger. So, going on patrol, our monitors don't have the feeling that they are in danger from one of the sides.
Mm-hmm. But the tweet of the mission changed. There was correction. Like, why did you see a need for correction of the tweet?
Because for us and the European Union, it's a big difference if it's reported that the European Union mission has been under attack, has been targeted, or if the European Union mission is reporting that we have been eyewitnessing or observing a shooting incident at the border. And for us, from our assessment from the European Union mission, it was a shooting incident that has been observed by us.
Actually, I have to add here that I read an article on the Azerbaijani media. It was on pro-government media that that Armenia is kind of misusing the mission for its like propaganda. What do you think about it?
I cannot comment on the outcome of the Azerbaijan media. We don't have the feeling that we are somehow misused by any of both sides.
I understand. Mr. Ritter, early this year, President Ilham Aliyev said in his speech that European Union actually manipulated and extended the mandate of the mission without agreeing it with Azerbaijan. Was that the case?
Concerning my mission, this mission was agreed in the European Council end of December, January this year. From the very beginning, it was clear that we will have a strength of 103 internationals, 35 national staff, and we will have 6 forward operational bases. That is written in the mandate, and it was never planned to extend this. What we do now, because we are still in the building up phase, that we are now permanently staffing one after the other of these forward operational base, but we are still within the mandate and with given strengths and the geographical deployment. That will not change until the end of the first mandate, and this is mid of February 2025.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Ritter, maybe let me clarify, please, first. So the first mission was for 2 months, right? And there was an agreement that to cooperate with Azerbaijan as well. Am I right?
I haven't been there but the first mission was on short notice. It was decided in Prague in the summit, in the European Union political summit, and to decrease the tension alongside the border as soon as possible. It was agreed that there will be a temporary mission that is composed out of monitors and equipment coming from the neighboring Georgian European Union monitoring mission on short notice. And later then, it was end of the year, on the request of the Armenian government, it was decided, it was planned and then decided to have a permanent mission exclusively for this conflict here.
Okay, so from what I understand, you are saying that it's not the extension of the first mandate, it's a second new mission. The first one was temporarily, the current one is permanent. It's not extension.
No, it's not an extension. It's a new mission that started on the 20th of February this year. That also was the day when I started to take over the command here on this civilian mission. This is a new mission with a new name, with its own mandate.
Mm-hmm. Was this mission, this permanent mission, the deployment of this mission, was discussed with Azerbaijan or President Aliyev?
I cannot say this. This has been done in preparation of the missions from Brussels, but I know that there are close and tight contacts between Brussels, the European institutions there, with Armenia, and as well as with Azerbaijan.
So do you know that if EU proposed, because the first mission, the temporary one, as you said, the first mission was cooperating with Azerbaijan. Did the second mission propose to cooperate with Azerbaijan or not?
Yes, it was proposed. It was also in the early stage of the planning, and we just wanted to continue like it was in the temporary mission before. And we are still trying to get direct contact to the officials in Azerbaijan. In the mandate, it's still planned to somehow have a direct contact, maybe through a hotline or something like this, and to have a liaison office in Baku. That is still the plan.
So that the mission wants to have an office in Baku?
If possible, yes.
Okay. Did you propose it to Azerbaijan?
Not in person, but the European institution did this, and they said that there is a wish also from the European Union side in Brussels, but there's also a personal wish for me as head of mission to one day have the possibility in Baku to speak with the official authorities and to explain what we are doing and what we want to have in the future.
Okay, and what was the response of Baku?
So far, through the office of the special representative, the idea was launched that maybe I get an invitation to Baku to in person can explain what's doing, but so far I did not have any success on this.
Okay, so Baku refuses or doesn't answer?
I can only say that so far I didn't get any invitation to come to Baku.
I see. So how it would help the peace building or normalization process?
Our mandate is to calm down the tensions alongside the border and to be impartial, to be here to decrease the number of incidents and to be the eyes and the ears of the European Union, who is supporting the peace talks and the peace process. So it's always difficult if you want to be impartial and can only speak with one side and only see one side of the coin. For sure, it would help if, for example, after incidents or whatever, I would have the possibility to talk with Azerbaijani authorities and to hear their version of the history or of the story. That is always would be better. So at the moment, it's difficult for us because only being and patrolling on the Armenian side, if there has something happened or if we observe something and are asking what is this, what we see, we can only get answers from the Armenian side. And it for sure would help if there would also be a voice from Azerbaijan, because both then we would report to Brussels.
But you, at the same time, the mission also informs Azerbaijan somehow, no? What is your cooperation right now with Azerbaijan about?
The only cooperation we have so far is that, and I said it already, that 1 week in advance, 1 week to 4 days in advance, we are notifying our escorted patrols alongside the border and the line of confrontation through the office of the special representative to Baku to avoid some misunderstandings, that to build some confidence, so that the Azerbaijani side knows in advance where we are going, where we are showing up, and there's no surprise for both sides where we are operating. And if we are showing up alongside the border, we always stand somewhere in the field or an upper level platform so that both sides see that we are there. We have clearly marked vehicles with a huge European flag on it. So we don't do any operations hiding somewhere or secrets. So that's for us a kind of confidence building also to the Azerbaijani side, that they know in advance where we are and what we are doing.
Mr. Ritter, to make it clear, I'd like to understand how did the cooperation look like in this temporary mission? Like how was Azerbaijan was cooperating with the mission, so that I can understand the difference?
I think practically there was not a huge difference. It worked quite like now. A lot of these regulations that had been set in the temporary mission I took over because it was running quite well, and there was not more cooperation with Azerbaijan than it's now. So also the temporary mission before, they notified the escorted patrols in advance, and that's what we do. But there was never a direct contact.
You know what I'd like to understand, because as far as I understand, Azerbaijan agreed to cooperate with the temporary mission in the past, but now Azerbaijan did not agree to cooperate with the mission, with the permanent mission. So how this cooperation then different than agrees, not agrees?
Practically, for us, there's no difference. So it was announced that there would be a cooperation and there would be a kind of tolerating the mission before. Now they're rejecting this for the permanent mission, but practically for us here on the ground in theater, there's no difference.
Maybe I can ask you to describe a little bit how your missions work look like. What I mean, like a little bit, as much as you can, like what does the mission exactly do? I see that some photos that you even have some contacts with the civilians. Sometimes I see it on Twitter. So how does your work look like?
It's not the question how far I can tell you everything, because we don't do anything secret. So we have two types of patrols. We are patrolling alongside the border to Azerbaijan and the line of confrontation. There we are stopped. We are planning these patrols 1 week in advance. There are some patrols who are escorted either by the military, by the Armenian, or by the border guard. But there are also a lot of patrols that are not escorted. So we go there to the points where we can observe the situation alongside the border, and we take pictures. We are looking and we are comparing. Have there been any changes since last week or the last time we have patrolled there. And if we see changes like new trenches, whatever, fortifications, we are documenting this, and then we are writing reports to Brussels. Mm-hmm. The second kind of patrols is visiting the villages, the farms that are somehow affected by the conflict, to meet the people there, to meet the mayors, teachers, priests, whatever, to talk with them, how do they feel and what they see. And that is what we are doing. And this also we include in our reports because it's important for Brussels to have an idea how the things are looking on the ground here in theater. That is what we are doing, not more. And for this, we have our binoculars, we have cameras, and that is all. This is our technical equipment we have.
Thank you so much. Mr. Ritter, earlier this year, Russian Foreign Minister Mr. Lavrov said that EU mission could only be counterproductive because Azerbaijan opposed it. What did the time show since January, February? How is the mission productive without Azerbaijan's cooperation?
So far, we conducted around 650 patrols, and we have been to spots where incident had happened before. We could report to Brussels by this. We think that by our presence, we decreased the number of incidents from there on, and we gave the population in the area a kind of feeling of security and safety. And at least Brussels is better prepared for the negotiation, for the peace talks, because they have some ears and eyes on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Then let me ask this question you again, like how the mission could have been productive if Azerbaijan cooperated.
As I said before, when we are visiting places where incidents have occurred, or for example, like last week, you talked about, when we have been eyewitness of shooting, and it would be for sure somehow helpful if we could afterwards ask both sides, why did it happen, what is the opinion, and then we can forward both opinions to Brussels. So far, we can report what we are seeing, we can report what we can verify, but then we can also only report our the outcome of our talks with the Armenian side about their view on this. And that is what we are doing.
I see. So, Mr. Ritter, Azerbaijan says that Mr. Aliyev says that Azerbaijan is not cooperating because EU manipulated. Why do you think Azerbaijan did not cooperate?
For sure, we are not manipulated, and we are not manipulating. That's also why we are very careful with any statement or whatever. We are only sending our reports to Brussels. Neither the Armenian side nor the Azerbaijani side gets these reports. So there's no chance for manipulating. And these reports are used in Brussels, are distributed to the member states of the European Union, and they are used somehow for the peace talks. So I don't see a basis for manipulating.
Actually, let me clarify. When Aliyev said manipulation, he meant the decision of the permanent mission, like not your mission, but Brussels probably. So why do you think Azerbaijan is not cooperating?
I have no idea why Azerbaijan, because I never talked to somebody from Azerbaijan. I cannot say this. I can tell you when I arrived here to take over the lead of this mission, all these decisions have already been done, and also the decision from Baku not to cooperate with us. That's what I found here on the ground, and that's what I have to work with.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Ritter, like some experts observing communities sometimes make a suggestion having international observers or fact-finding groups in Karabakh as well, like in the region the Armenians are populated. Like how would the EU mission presence in Karabakh together or instead of Russian peacekeepers help the situation?
Our mandate is clearly excluding Karabakh, so we are not there, and also from our side there are coming no plans to change this. For our mandate, very clearly, this region is excluded.
Mm-hmm. So what are the major challenges of the mission in the region, Mr. Ritter, right now?
The major challenges are that this mission has been launched very fast. So as a civilian mission, it takes a time to get all the staff on the ground, also the equipment and everything. We are still now in the startup phase. We have not all the staff on board, but it was expected from European Union side that from the very beginning we are patrolling and we show flag. So that was quite a challenge, not knowing the territory, not knowing how the conditions are in the mountains. Now, after more than 650 patrols, we are used. The people, my staff, they know where to go, they know where are the challenges. But at the beginning, it was quite a tough work. And beside this, I don't see huge challenges at the moment. It works quite well. We are now, as I said before, permanently staffing all our forward operational bases, and then we are settled, and then we have to see what the future brings, because we have a 2 years mandate. As I said, it will end on mid of February, and in early beginning of next year, there will be a strategic review. We have to go through what went well, what not, what should be changed in future. We will make our proposals, we will talk with our partners, and then new decisions will be made in Brussels by all the member states.
Mm-hmm. There has not been a delimitation, demarcation, and that's why there is no clear border between Azerbaijan and Armenia. And do you think it's a problem for you, or what kind of problems does it cause for the mission that the delimitation and demarcation has not happened yet?
As I said at the beginning of our mandate, we are patrolling alongside the border, and there where it's not clear, we call it the line of confrontation. And it's clearly visible for us by the fortification of both sides. And at the moment we stay behind the fortifications of the Armenian side. So this is for us the fact where we can patrol, and we will never cross this and try to reach other territories or other areas. So that's why we are talking about the line of confrontation, because there are areas where the borderline is not clear.
I see. Thank you very much, Mr. Ritter. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
As I said now several times, the hand is reached out to Azerbaijan. For us, it would be great if there would be any direct contacts, if we would have somebody we can talk to clarify, to verify things that are happening in this beautiful area of this world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.